very good morning and welcome to the Breakfast News on Rajya Sabha Television. I'm Aishwarya Kapoor with you. Let us start the bulletin with the headlines. Prime Minister urges people to take fight against black money to the next level. In monthly radio address also asks people to fight social evil of food wastage. Government instructs telecom operators to begin process of Aadhaar-based re-verification of existing subscribers of mobile services. Militants attack ancestral home of Jammu and Kashmir Minister Farooq Abdurabi in Anantnag. One cop injured, 2 Hizbul militants killed after ambush at police party in Pulwama. UP meat sellers are to go on an indefinite strike against crackdown on illegal slaughterhouses. Fish sellers extend their support to the stir. And Russia's main opposition leader arrested at anti-corruption rally in Moscow. 500 protesters detained as call for Prime Minister Dmitry Medvedev to step down strengthens. Well, our top story this morning, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has urged people to take the fight against black money and graft to the next level. While addressing his monthly program, Mann Ki Baat on radio, the Prime Minister urged people to use less cash in their daily lives and continue to support the movement towards digital payments started after the note ban. The Prime Minister also spoke about building a new India, which he said can be achieved when 125 crore Indians take a pledge and unitedly work towards it. The Prime Minister also called on people to fight against the social evil of food wastage.
पिछले कुछ महीनों में हमारे देश में एक ऐसा माहौल बना, बहुत बड़ी मात्रा में लोग डिजिटल पेमेंट, डिजिधन आंदोलन में शरीक हुए। बिना नकद कैसे लेन देन की जा सकती है, उसकी जिज्ञासा भी बड़ी है। गरीब से गरीब भी सीखने का प्रयास कर रहा है और धीरे धीरे लोग भी बिना नकद कारोबार कैसे करना, उसकी ओर आगे बढ़ रहे हैं। डीमोनेटाइजेशन, नोटबंदी के बाद से डिजिटल पेमेंट के अलग अलग तरीकों में काफी वृद्धि देखने को मिली है। न्यू इंडिया न तो कोई सरकारी कार्यक्रम है, न ही किसी राजनीतिक दल का मैनिफेस्टो है और न ही यह कोई प्रोजेक्ट है। न्यू इंडिया 125 करोड़ देशवासियों का आह्वान है। यही भाव है कि 125 करोड़ देशवासी मिलकर के कैसा भव्य भारत बनाना चाहते हैं। 125 करोड़ देशवासियों के मन के अंदर एक आशा है, एक उमंग है, एक संकल्प है, एक चाह है।
And Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that terrorism has thrown a big challenge to humanity and people should draw inspiration from ancient scriptures to take on the menace. While addressing a gathering at the residence of Union Minister M. Venkaiah Naidu in Delhi to celebrate Ugadi, the Telugu and Kannada New Year Day, the Prime Minister said that in the scriptures like the Ramayana, one can easily find references to fight against terror.
आज पूरी विश्व आतंकवाद के कारण त्रस्त है। आतंकवाद ने मानवता को ललकारा है, मानवता को चुनौती दी है। लेकिन पुराणों की इस घटनाओं से हम अगर आज के संदर्भ में उसका एनालिसिस करने का प्रयास करें तो मैं कहूंगा कि आतंक के खिलाफ सबसे पहले अगर किसी ने लड़ाई लड़ी थी तो जटायु ने लड़ी थी। अभयम का संदेश अगर किसी ने दिया था तो जटायु ने दिया था। इतना बाहुबली, इतना सामर्थ्यवान व्यक्ति के खिलाफ एक जटायु, एक नारी की रक्षा के लिए अपने जीवन की बाजी लगा दें। आतंक के खिलाफ लड़ने की ये ताकत हर व्यक्ति को प्रेरणा देती है और उसका आज मंचन हमें अभयम का संदेश देता है।
And praising Prime Minister Narendra Modi's slogan, Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, RSS Chief Mohan Bhagwat called it a religious slogan. However, he said that religion in this case should not be confused with its modern connotations. He said religion is something which prompts a person to do his or her duty, and that helps to strike a balance to help overcome problems and helps everyone come together. Well, speaking at the 7th Nanaji Deshmukh Memorial Lecture at Balayogi Auditorium in the Parliament Complex, Bhagwat said that development would be complete when the weakest person standing last in the line benefits from it. He added that development in India should happen according to its temperament and culture. Well, the RSS head also stressed on the need to have development and environment on the same page like friends. His remarks on environment assumed significance as the government has often stressed that environmental concerns and development projects have to go together.
कि सबका साथ सबका विकास यही होगा, लेकिन ये होगा तो ये हुआ है ये मानेंगे कैसा? तो उसकी कसौटी है कि जिन सबका विकास आप करना चाहते हो उन सब में जो अंतिम आदमी है उसका होना चाहिए।
प्रत्येक देश की अपनी प्रकृति होती है, अपनी संस्कृति होती है। बिना संस्कृति के विकास का कोई अर्थ नहीं और इसलिए प्रत्येक देश को अपने अपने संस्कृति के अनुसार अपने विकास का मॉडल चुनने का अधिकार है।
On to some other news now. Well, all existing subscribers of mobile services will have to go for Aadhaar-based re-verification soon. Well, a notification issued by the Telecom Department has instructed all telecom operators to re-verify all existing mobile subscribers, prepaid and postpaid, through Aadhaar-based eKYC process. Well, the government has asked the telecom operators to initiate the process regarding this. Well, cellular operators body called Cellular Operations Association of India said its members may meet next week to discuss the modalities of rolling out the verification process for the existing 1 billion plus mobile phone users in the country. Well, for the re-verification through Aadhaar, the operators will have to send a verification code to the subscriber's number, and the operator will then have to verify this code from the subscriber so as to confirm whether the SIM card of the connection is physically available with the subscriber. The operator can re-verify more than one mobile connection in one service area through a single eKYC, but not bulk connections. Well, verification of a subscriber would not be required in case of conversions, that is a prepaid to postpaid connections or vice versa. Moving on in the bulletin now, well, the Controller and Auditor General of India plans to audit the impact of note ban and the effect that it has had on the government's tax revenues. Well, according to CAG Shashikant Sharma, the auditor is gearing up to audit tax revenues under the new goods and services tax regime and has started capacity building and reorienting its auditor technology and methodology and procedures. Well, among the special audits, CAG has already completed audit of agricultural crop insurance scheme and flood control and flood forecasting, and is now engaged in several important audits like right to education, National Rural Health Mission, defence pensions and Ganga rejuvenation. Well, according to him, reports should be ready by the end of the current year. Well, CAG has audit jurisdiction over anybody or authority which has any relation to the government revenues and expenditure, and resistance by some like city development bodies, DISCOMs and Metro Corporation will wither away. The Election Commission has written to political parties seeking their view on proposal to ban political parties for failing to clear utility dues. Well, this comes on the lines of a similar proposal to bar candidates from contesting for failure to furnish no dues certificate. Well, the poll panel has written to parties on how to implement the Delhi High Court directive on the same. Remember, in 2015 August, the court had asked the Election Commission to ensure that the candidates contesting Lok Sabha and Assembly elections furnish no dues certificate from the agency providing electricity, water and telephone connections to their accommodation. Well, the order had said that the same rules should apply to political parties as well. The poll watchdog has already written to the Law Ministry urging it to amend election laws so that the candidates who have defaulted in clearing their dues can be barred from contesting Lok Sabha and Assembly elections. And the Election Commission will hear the final arguments on the possible disqualification of 21 AAP MLAs in the Office of Profit case. Well, the hearing is on the appointment of these MLAs as parliamentary secretaries. Remember, the issue has been pending since December 2015 and it was held up due to the assembly elections in 5 states. Well, Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal made the appointments in March 2015 and his government passed an amendment to the Delhi Members of Legislative Assembly Removal of Disqualification Act 1997 in June 2015. Well, the amendment exempted the post of parliamentary secretary from a definition of office of profit with retrospective effect. Well, his party argued that this post did not qualify as an office of profit as there is no monetary benefit attached to it. The party's efforts, however, got a jolt when President Pranab Mukherjee declined approval to the proposed amendment in June 2016 and the Delhi High Court then set aside the order appointing the MLAs as parliamentary secretaries. Now, both the BJP and the Congress have been waiting for the EC's verdict while preparing for the Municipal Corporation of Delhi polls that are due on 23rd of April. And in Breakfast News, we'll take a very short break. We'll be back with more news. Stay tuned.
Goa and Manipur looked like a stolen kingdom, as what the Congress says.
Opportunity was everybody, with the Congress party and with the BJP. We take the advantage of the opportunity.
There was some kind of pressure on BJP to declare Yogi Adityanath as the CM.
BJP is a political party. हम कोई साधु संत नहीं है. We have to calculate the political equations.
There could be a front staging of issues like cow protection, love jihad, forced religious conversion.
Let us wait and watch. Why are you blaming? It is the story of image versus reality.
Watch To The Point with Union Minister Nitin Gadkari only on Rajya Sabha television. Gyan Chopper is the ancient version of Indian snakes and ladders. This intriguing game was popular among the old, the young and the rulers as well. The chopper has its origin in the Jain philosophy. It tells the story of virtue, symbolized by the ladders, rewarded, while the vices shown by the snakes are punished. Each square, in turn, also narrates some message of wisdom.
Welcome back. A big story coming in from Jammu and Kashmir, where suspected militants last night attacked the ancestral residence of Jammu and Kashmir Minister Farooq Abdrabi. Well, the attack took place in South Kashmir's Anantnag district. One policeman has been injured in the attack. Now, militants attacked the residence of Abdrabi, the Minister of State for Hajj and Waqf at Duru in Anantnag. The injured policeman was taken to a hospital for treatment. More news from Jammu and Kashmir, while 2 Hizbul Mujahideen militants were killed on Sunday when they tried to ambush a police party that included 3 officers of the rank of Superintendent of Police in Pulwama district. Well, the incident took place at Padgampura, an area located on the border of Avantipura and Pulwama districts, when militants came from behind and started firing indiscriminately at the convoy of officers. Well, the top police officers of the districts were returning after meeting with the Chief Election Commissioner in connection with the forthcoming by-polls to the 2 Lok Sabha seats of Anantnag and Srinagar. Well, police say that they have recovered 2 weapons, one self-loading rifle and AK-47 from them as well. One militant has been identified as Shahbaz Safi Wani, alias Rais Kachru, who was active in the area since June 2016. And the other one has been identified as Farooq Ahmed Hurra from Shopia, who had surrendered in 2010 and was out on parole.
It was ambushed by a group of terrorists who were in a Maruti car. The police party retaliated and fired back, and in the gun battle 2 terrorists have been neutralized. One of them has been identified. His name is Shahbaz. He is from Pulwama, and the identity of the other terrorist is being ascertained. 2 weapons have been recovered from them. One is an AK-47, other is an SLR. This SLR had been looted from one of the minority pickets last year in October from a minority picket in Pulwama.
News from Uttar Pradesh now. Well, Chief Minister of the state Adityanath Yogi on Sunday asked all BJP office bearers and public representatives not to undertake any contractual work. He instead encouraged them to monitor the work for effective execution. While addressing people at the BJP's regional office on the second day of his Gorakhpur visit, Adityanath said that BJP's unprecedented win in the recent assembly elections had only increased the responsibilities of his party and its workers. He also advised his ministers to be accessible to the public and urged them to work hard for public welfare. Well, the UP Chief Minister also ordered a strict action against the food, grain and ration mafia and directed the officials to submit reports of closed sugar mills in the state. He asked the district magistrates to ensure that the benefits of the government schemes reach the needy and asked the officials to prepare a comprehensive strategy for the new sowing season. Staying with Uttar Pradesh, while meat sellers across the state will go on an indefinite strike from today against the crackdown on illegal slaughterhouses ordered by UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath. Now, fish sellers also have extended their support to the stir. An increasing number of butcher shops and slaughterhouses across the state have complained that they are being targeted unfairly under a crackdown, a charge which the BJP government denies. Well, the party's national spokesperson Sambit Patra said that the meat outlets running legally and in accordance with the norms were not being victimized and that the government was only following a court order. He also said the state government was ready to resolve the issue if there was a large-scale disruption. While following the crackdown, non-vegetarian food outlets have shifted to mutton and chicken dishes after buffalo meat became scarce. Now, the government of the state had earlier ordered the closure of illegal slaughterhouses and strict enforcement on a ban on cow smuggling to fulfill a key electoral promise.
चिकन की सप्लाई नहीं मिल रही है और इसकी वजह से हमारे लोग जितने जुड़े हुए हैं इसके साथ हम कुछ नहीं कर पा रहे। धंधा कैसा चल रहा है अभी? कुछ नहीं, जीरो है। फ्रॉम यस्टरडे वी आर क्लोज्ड क्योंकि एक महीने की नोटिस देके इसको पहले लाइसेंस सबके इशू करना चाहिए था। जिनके नहीं देना है उनको रिजेक्ट करना था, रिजेक्ट करते, वो अपने हिसाब से करते सब। लेकिन बगैर इसके कि अचानक से सब चीजें बंद हो गई या छापे पड़ रहे हैं, उसकी वजह से पुलिस भी उसमें तमाम कुछ मिसयूज कर रही है इसको, तो ये तरीका गलत है।
इसमें किसानों को भी नुकसान हो रहा है और जो फुटकर दुकानदार है, जो थोक विक्रेता है, दोनों को ही नुकसान हो रहा है इसमें। और सबसे ज्यादा किसानों को हो रहा है जिनका करोड़ों का माल पड़ा हुआ है जो कि माल निकासी नहीं है। बूचर खाना बंद है, स्लॉटर हाउस बंद है, लेकिन मुर्गे पे कोई काहे के लिए प्रतिबंध लगाया गया है। प्रशासन उसको जबरदस्ती मुर्गे को भी करवा रही है काम।
सरकार कह रही है कि वैध तरीके से जो दुकानें हैं वो चलाई जाएंगी। वैध तरीके के लिए हम लाइसेंस ले रहे हैं, सरकार लाइसेंस पीछे काफी दिनों से नहीं दे रही है। कुछ लाइसेंस जो हैं वो रिन्यू कराने के लिए हम कहते हैं रिन्यू नहीं हो पा रहे हैं। 31 तारीख को जो लाइसेंस है वो भी खत्म हो रहे हैं। उस हालत में 31 तारीख में कोई भी लीगल काम करने के लिए आदमी हमारे पास नहीं बचेगा। हम इस वजह से विरोध प्रदर्शन कर रहे हैं कि या सरकार हमारे लिए रास्ता बनाए या सरकार जब तक कोई नया सिस्टम नहीं बना करके देती है तब तक जिस तरीके से काम चल रहा था उसको उसी तरीके पर चलने दिया जाए।
And now a look at some of the election-related developments in election wrap. Well, the nominations for the elections to the 3 municipal corporations in the national capital will begin with the issue of a notification today. The last date for the filing of nominations is 3rd of April and the scrutiny of nominations will take place on 5th of April. And the last date for the withdrawal of nominations is 8th of April. Remember, polls to the 3 municipal corporations of Delhi will be held on 23rd of April and the counting of votes will take place on the 26th. And scrutiny of nominations for the by-polls to the Anantnag Lok Sabha seats will take place today. The voting will be held on 12th of April. Now, 7 candidates are in the fray in the Anantnag Lok Sabha by-polls as the deadline for filing of nominations ended on 24th of March. And the last date for withdrawal of candidatures is 29th of March and the counting on 15th of April. Well, today is also the last day of the withdrawal of candidatures for the by-poll to the Kerala Lok Sabha seat and 2 assembly seats in Tamil Nadu and Sikkim. The last date of nominations was 23rd of March and the scrutiny of nominations will be held on 24th of March and the voting will be held on 12th of April. Counting of votes will take place on 15th of April for the assembly constituencies, while for Kerala Lok Sabha seat it will be held on 17th. Well, a total of 9 candidates are in the fray from Malappuram Lok Sabha seat. Well, the Babri Masjid Action Committee has said that an out-of-court settlement of the Ayodhya dispute was not possible with the Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath at the helm of affairs. Well, BMAC convener Zafar Yab Jilani met officer bearers and said that both the leaders have been BJP workers and supporters of the Ram Temple movement, so an out-of-court settlement was not possible. He further said that earlier Prime Minister used to be neutral on the issue. Well, Jilani said the solution to the Babri Masjid suit can only be arrived through the Supreme Court. The BMAC meeting was held against the backdrop of the Apex Court recently asking the parties involved to sit together and arrive at a consensus on the issue, which has been dragging on for decades now. Well, the BMAC office bearers were also of the view that the Chief Justice of India or any other judge can take an initiative to find a solution to the issue, and then the Muslims would certainly support it. More news are from across the nation in Nationwide. Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar on Sunday paid a courtesy visit to his Chhattisgarh counterpart Raman Singh and appreciated the public distribution system of the BJP-ruled state. He also appreciated the online system of paddy procurement in the state. Now, both the chief ministers also discussed developmental schemes being run in both the states. Well, Bihar's Education Minister Ashok Chaudhary and Water Resources Minister Rajiv Ranjan were also present at the occasion. Former Uttarakhand Minister and senior Congress leader Indira Videsh will be the leader of the opposition in the State Assembly. Well, State Congress Chief Kishore Upadhyay said that the decision was taken at the Congress Legislative Party meeting attended by party's State Affairs in charge Ambika Soni and former Chief Minister Harish Rawat. He further added that Karan Mahara, the party MLA from Ranikhet, has been appointed as the deputy leader of the legislature party. Kerala Transport Minister A.K. Sasindran resigned from the CPM left Democratic Front government after allegations of misconduct with a woman surfaced against him. Well, Sasindran announced his resignation after a private television channel released an audio tape. Well, after giving his resignation, he said that he has resigned on moral grounds and all charges against him are absolutely baseless. Meanwhile, Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan said that he viewed the allegations seriously and after examining all facts, a decision will be taken. More than 100 Indian fishermen were arrested and 19 of their boats were seized on Sunday by Pakistan for allegedly fishing in their territorial waters off the Gujarat coast. Well, Pakistan Maritime Security Agency arrested the fishermen and seized the boats off Jahu coast in Kutch area. Normal life in Manipur was paralysed on Sunday in the 17-hour strike called by a student body for the removal of an MLA from the post of parliamentary secretary as he allegedly did not hail from the state. While major markets across the state remain closed and all forms of passenger transport services also came to a halt. No untoward incident, however, has been reported from any part of the state during the strike. All right, let's get you some international news. Well, Russia's main opposition leader, Alexei Navalny, has been arrested at an anti-corruption protest that he organized in the capital, Moscow. Well, at least 500 other protesters were also detained in the capital and across the country. Well, thousands of people joined the rallies nationwide, calling for the resignation of Prime Minister Dmitry Medvedev over corruption charges. Well, opposition leader Alexei Navalny was detained as he arrived to join the rally in central Moscow. Well, in a tweet after his detention, he urged his fellow protesters to continue with the demonstration. Now, Navalny called for nationwide strike after he published reports claiming that Prime Minister Medvedev had amassed wealth disproportionate to his official salary. Now, Medvedev's spokesperson has dismissed the allegations as propaganda.
В этой лжи, в этой коррупции, в кое уже, еще раз говорю, в рамках Конституции было сказано, соответственно, он должен понести соответствующее наказание. Какое оно будет выдвигать, конечно же, судебная инстанция.
Один человек ничего не может, но все-таки вот масса, по крайней мере, покажут, что нельзя так дальше жить, нельзя. Но я боюсь, что этого будет недостаточно.
News from the US now, where one person has been killed and 16 others were injured in a shooting at a nightclub in Cincinnati in Ohio. Well, police say that a dispute between several men escalated into a gunfight at the Cameo nightclub. Some 200 people were inside the club when the incident happened early on Sunday. Just after 1 a.m., multiple people fired shots, but a 27-year-old man died while one of the injured is in a very critical condition. Now, police has ruled out the incident as terrorism-related. Investigators are still trying to identify the shooters, but police is also looking into several reasons as to how firearms were brought into the nightclub despite security checks.
What we know at this point in the investigation, several local men got into some type of a dispute inside the bar, and it escalated into shots being fired from several individuals. As a result, there were 16 people that sustained gunshot injuries, one of which is deceased. A total of 15 others that were injured, one in extremely critical condition. In addition to that, several others more serious injuries and some very minor and were released.
Let's get you some more international news now in World Wrap. Bangladesh Army commandos on Sunday shot dead 2 Islamist militants in a raid at a building in northeastern Sylhet city. The counter-terrorism team got information that the JMB chief Musa along with some other militants were holed up inside the building. But the commandos then entered from the top of the building to avoid the booby traps laid out on the ground floor and then used tear gas. Well, the raid comes a day after 6 people, including 2 policemen, were killed in explosions near that building. The blasts were claimed by the Islamic State. A 30-year-old man has been arrested in Birmingham by officers investigating the Westminster terror attack. Now, officers have carried out raids in East London, South of London, Brighton, Surrey, Birmingham and Manchester. In 12 people have been arrested and 9 have been released. Well, the attack near UK Parliament left 4 victims dead and 40 injured. The attacker, Khalid Masood, was also shot dead. A Beijing-backed civil servant, Carrie Lam, was chosen to be Hong Kong's next leader. Lam, who will become Hong Kong's first female chief executive when she takes office on 1st of July, won 777 votes compared with 365 for her closest rival, John Tsang. The majority of Hong Kong's 7.3 million people have no say in deciding their leaders, who they choose from among several candidates by an election committee which is stacked with pro-Beijing and pro-establishment loyalists. Iran has imposed a sanction on 15 US companies for cooperating with Israel. Iran's foreign ministry said that the companies had flagrantly violated human rights and had cooperated with Israel against the Palestinians. Well, the decision comes 2 days after the US announced new sanctions on foreign firms which are accused of collaborating with Iran's weapons program. German Chancellor Angela Merkel's party easily won a state election in Saarland. Her party, Christian Democrats, took 40.7% of votes, comfortably seeing off a challenge by Social Democrats, who secured 29.6%. Well, the outcome of this election was being watched for signs of voter sentiment ahead of the 24th of September general election, wherein Merkel is hoping for a 4th term as Chancellor. And finally, on to some sports news. Well, India will look to take a considerable first innings lead as they resume their innings at 248 for 6 against Australia on the 3rd day of the final test match against Australia in Dharamshala today. On day 2, opener KL Rahul and Cheteshwar Pujara hit their pretty half-centuries to give India a solid start to the chase, but Australian spinner Nathan Lyon picked up 4 wickets after tea to put the hosts on the back foot. Well, Ravindra Jadeja and Ridhima Saha were at the crease at stumps as India still trail by 52 runs. Remember, Australia were earlier bowled out for 300 runs in their first innings. Well, that's it from the entire Breakfast Bulletin team. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day ahead.